behind closed doors at the Indiana Fever headquarters, a conversation was happening that would change the course of women's basketball history forever. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation who transformed the WNBA, had something to reveal that would shake the very foundation of the organization that drafted her. The words she spoke in that private meeting would end one coaching career and begin the most shocking hire in professional sports history. When basketball legend Larry Bird's name started circulating as a potential replacement, nobody could have predicted how a single revelation from the league's biggest star would trigger an organizational earthquake that threatens to rewrite everything we thought we knew about coaching in women's professional basketball. Christy Sides currently serves as the head coach of the Indiana Fever, having guided the team through Caitlin Clark's historic rookie season in Artsenling Artersooth. Sides was hired in January. Artsenling Artersooth successfully integrated Clark into the WNBA while managing the intense media attention surrounding the league's most marketable player. Stephanie White, contrary to recent speculation, is currently the head coach of the Connecticut Sun, not the Indiana Fever. White previously coached the Fever from leading the team to the WNBA playoffs before being dismissed after the Artsenling Artersooth season. She later coached at Vanderbilt University before returning to the WNBA with Connecticut. The coaching situation in Indiana has remained stable under Sides throughout the Artsenling Artersooth season. Though questions arise about what internal organizational dynamics might be influencing long-term coaching decisions and team direction as the franchise navigates its newfound success and commercial prominence. Larry Bird, the legendary Boston Celtics player and former Indiana Pacers executive, has deep ties to Indiana basketball but has never coached in the WNBA. His basketball credentials include 3 NBA championships as a player, executive experience with the Pacers, and recognition as one of the greatest players in basketball history. Sports analysts wonder whether the success and pressure surrounding Clark's presence might create situations where franchise management considers unconventional coaching approaches or high-profile hires to maintain competitive advantage and commercial appeal. Caitlin Clark's transition from college basketball at the University of Iowa to professional basketball. How? Caitlin required significant adjustments in coaching relationships and playing styles. Her college coach, Lisa Bluter, provided extensive autonomy and offensive freedom that differed from typical WNBA structures. The relationship between Clark and Christy Sides has been professionally managed throughout the rookie season, with both parties expressing mutual respect in public statements while navigating the challenges of integrating a high-profile rookie into existing team systems. During games, there have been observable moments of communication between Clark and Sides that have been analyzed extensively by media and fans, seeking insights into their working relationship and potential areas of tension or disagreement about strategy and player usage. The coaching philosophy differences between college and professional basketball created adaptation challenges for Clark, who had operated with significant offensive responsibility and decision-making authority at Iowa, that required modification for WNBA team dynamics. Questions arise about how Clark's preferences for playing style, offensive systems, and team chemistry might influence her perspective on coaching effectiveness and what revelations she might have about optimizing her professional development and team success. Larry Bird's basketball legacy is intrinsically connected to Indiana. From his childhood in French Lick to his legendary playing career and subsequent executive roles with the Indiana Pacers, his understanding of basketball culture and competitive excellence spans multiple decades and levels of the sport. As a player, Bird won 3 NBA championships with the Boston Celtics while establishing himself as one of the greatest shooters and most competitive players in basketball history. His rivalry with Magic Johnson helped elevate the NBA's popularity during the Etienne Jolbite Batterses and established templates for ball excellence. Bird's executive experience with the Indiana Pacers included serving as head coach from Etienne Jolbite Jolshirti Fu Artsenu, leading the team to the NBA Finals in Artsen, and later serving as president of basketball operations, where he helped build competitive teams and develop organizational culture. His basketball philosophy emphasizes fundamentals, competitive intensity, and team-first approaches. With nations that have proven successful across different eras and levels of basketball competition, these principles could potentially translate to women's professional basketball. The legendary status Bird holds in Indiana basketball circles makes him an attractive figure for any basketball organization seeking credibility, basketball knowledge, and the ability to command respect from players who understand his historical significance to the sport. The WNBA has historically been coached predominantly by individuals with women's basketball backgrounds, including former players and coaches who developed their expertise specifically within women's basketball culture and competitive dynamics. Recent trends in professional sports have seen increased crossover between men's and women's coaching, with some organizations exploring whether coaching expertise translates across gender lines and what benefits might come from diverse coaching perspectives and experiences. The success of coaches with varied backgrounds in women's professional sports has created precedents for considering unconventional hires when organizations seek competitive advantages or different approaches to player development and team building. Questions arise about whether elite basketball knowledge and coaching ability transcend traditional gender boundaries in coaching assignments, and what factors should determine coaching effectiveness beyond historical precedent and conventional expectations. Sports analysts wonder whether the unique challenges and opportunities presented by coaching a HARS generational talent like Clark might require different coaching approaches or perspectives that could benefit from unconventional hiring decisions. Professional sports franchises make coaching decisions based on multiple factors, including competitive performance, player relationships, organizational culture, fan engagement, and commercial considerations that extend beyond traditional basketball metrics. The Indiana Fever's transformation from struggling franchise to commercially successful organization creates unique pressures and opportunities that might influence coaching decisions differently than typical WNBA franchise situations. Franchise ownership and management evaluate coaching effectiveness through various lenses, including player development, team chemistry, competitive results, media relations, and the ability to maximize the potential of key players and organizational assets. The commercial success generated by Clark's presence creates additional considerations for coaching decisions, as the franchise must balance competitive goals with maintaining the satisfaction and development of their most valuable player and commercial asset. Legal experts note that coaching changes in professional sports involve complex contractual considerations, including buyout clauses, recruitment processes, and league approval procedures that must be navigated carefully to avoid legal complications. Superstar players in professional sports often influence coaching decisions through their preferences, development needs, and the organizational investment in maximizing their potential and maintaining their satisfaction with team direction and leadership. The relationship between elite players and coaching staff becomes crucial for franchise success. When organizations have significant financial and competitive investment in specific players who generate substantial revenue and competitive advantage. Historical precedents in professional sports include situations where coaching changes were influenced by superstar player preferences or revelations about coaching effectiveness in developing and utilizing elite talent to its fullest potential. The unique position of generational talents like Clark creates situations where their input and perspective on coaching effectiveness might carry additional weight in organizational decision-making processes beyond typical player-coach dynamics. Questions arise about how franchise organizations balance player input with independent evaluation of coaching performance and what role player preferences should play in major organizational decisions, like coaching changes. The fundamental principles of basketball strategy, player development, and competitive preparation are often considered universal, regardless of the gender of players or coaches, though implementation and communication approaches may require adaptation for different contexts. Successful coaching at the highest levels of basketball involves understanding player psychology, strategic planning, in-game adjustments, and relationship building that could potentially translate across different leagues and competitive environments. The technical aspects of basketball coaching, including offensive and defensive systems, player positioning, skill development, and game preparation, involve expertise that might benefit from diverse perspectives and experiences across different levels of basketball competition. Sports psychology research suggests that coaching effectiveness depends more on communication skills, basketball knowledge, and leadership ability than on shared gender experiences between coaches and players. Legal experts note that coaching qualifications and hiring decisions must be based on legitimate hierarchies, basketball credentials, and organizational fit rather than assumptions about gender-based coaching, advantages, or limitations that could raise discrimination concerns. High-profile coaching hires in professional sports often generate significant media attention, fan interest, and commercial opportunities that can benefit franchises through increased visibility and marketing potential beyond traditional competitive considerations. The Indiana Fever's commercial success has been built largely around Caitlin Clark's presence and performance, creating additional pressure to make organizational decisions that maintain fan engagement and commercial momentum generated by her rookie season. Marketing and sponsorship opportunities could potentially be enhanced by high-profile coaching decisions that generate additional media coverage and public interest in their franchise and women's basketball more broadly. The precedent of unconventional coaching hires could influence how other WNBA franchises approach coaching decisions and whether the league's traditional hiring patterns might evolve to include more diverse coaching back. Questions arise about how commercial considerations should be balanced with competitive goals, and whether high-profile coaching decisions create sustainable competitive advantages or primarily serve short-term marketing and publicity purposes. Elite basketball players require coaching approaches that maximize their unique skills while developing areas for improvement and integrating their abilities into team systems that optimize collective performance and competitive success. Caitlin Clark's specific development needs include adapting her college success to professional basketball while maintaining the creativity and scoring ability that made her a generational talent and commercial phenomenon. Different coaching philosophies offer various approaches to player development, offensive systems, defensive schemes, and team chemistry that could potentially unlock different aspects of elite player performance and team competitive potential. The transition from college to professional basketball often requires specialized coaching attention and understanding of how to adapt elite amateur players to the increased competition, physicality, and strategic complexity of professional basketball. Sports analysts wonder whether Clark's development might benefit from coaching perspectives that emphasize offensive creativity, competitive intensity, and individual excellence within team frameworks that maximize her unique abilities. Coaching decisions made by high-profile franchises like the Indiana Fever can influence trends and expectations throughout the WNBA, particularly when those decisions involve unconventional approaches or high-profile personnel moves. The success or failure of innovative coaching approaches could establish precedents that affect how other teams evaluate coaching candidates and what qualifications and backgrounds they prioritize in hiring decisions. League officials monitor coaching decisions to ensure compliance with WNBA policies and procedures, while generally allowing franchises autonomy in making personnel decisions that they believe will optimize competitive performance and organizational success. The broader women's basketball community, including college coaches and international leagues, closely observes WNBA coaching trends and innovations that might influence coaching approaches and career development across different levels of women's basketball. Questions arise about whether successful implementation of diverse coaching approaches might accelerate changes in coaching culture throughout women's professional sports and create new opportunities for coaching career development. And high-profile coaching decisions generate extensive media coverage and public debate that can influence franchise reputation, fan engagement, and broader perceptions of organizational competence and commitment to competitive excellence. The intersection of legendary basketball figures with women's professional sports creates unique media narratives that attract attention from both traditional basketball fans and broader sports audiences interested in groundbreaking developments. Social media reactions to coaching decisions often reflect diverse perspectives on gender roles in sports, coaching qualifications, and the appropriate balance between traditional approaches and innovative organizational decisions. The public relations implications of coaching changes require careful management to maintain positive relationships with fans, media, and league partners while explaining the reasoning behind organizational decisions and their expected benefits. Sports journalists and analysts provide extensive coverage and commentary on coaching decisions, that can influence public perception and create pressure on organizations to justify their personnel choices through competitive results. Coaching contracts in the WNBA involve specific terms regarding compensation, contract duration, performance, expectations, and termination procedures that must be carefully managed during coaching transitions and hiring processes. The financial investment required for high-profile coaching hires might exceed typical WNBA coaching budgets, requiring franchises to evaluate whether potential competitive and commercial benefits justify increased personnel expenses. Legal considerations for coaching changes include buyout obligations to current coaching staff, recruitment procedures for new coaches, and compliance with league policies regarding coaching, qualifications, and hiring procedures. The commercial success generated by the Indiana Fever provides additional financial resources that could support higher coaching salaries and more competitive hiring approaches than historically available to WNBA franchises. Questions arise about whether increased investment in coaching could establish new standards for WNBA coaching compensation and whether successful franchises might need to increase coaching budgets to remain competitive for elite coaching talent. Professional sports history includes various examples of unconventional coaching hires that professional coaching hires challenged traditional expectations and generated significant attention while producing varied, competitive results and organizational outcomes. Cross-gender coaching appointments in professional sports have occurred with increasing frequency cross-gender as organizations prioritize coaching ability and basketball knowledge over traditional gender-based hiring patterns and assumptions about coaching effectiveness. The success of innovative coaching approaches often depends on organizational support, player acceptance, and the coach's ability to adapt their methods to new competitive environments and player development challenges. Legendary players transitioning to coaching roles have experienced mixed results, with success often depending on their ability to communicate effectively with current players and adapt their playing experience to teaching and strategic. Sports historians note that groundbreaking coaching decisions often reflect broader cultural changes in sports and society, with successful innovations influencing future hiring practices and expanding opportunities for diverse coaching backgrounds. The resolution of coaching situations involving high-profile players and franchises will likely influence how the WNBA approaches coaching development and what qualifications and backgrounds are considered valuable for optimizing player development and competitive success. The precedents established through current coaching decisions could affect future generations of side coaches and players who will navigate evolving expectations and opportunities in women's professional basketball. Questions remain about how the league will balance traditional coaching approaches with innovative personnel decisions that might expand coaching opportunities while maintaining competitive integrity and player development effectiveness. The broader implications for women's professional sports include establishing new standards for coaching excellence and creating precedents that might influence coaching culture across different leagues and competitive levels. Sports analysts wonder whether current developments might accelerate changes in coaching, philosophy, and hiring practices that benefit both individual franchises and the overall development of women's professional basketball as a competitive and commercial enterprise. If you're as intrigued by these potential coaching developments as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think coaching excellence transcends traditional gender boundaries? Would an unconventional hire like Larry Bird benefit women's professional basketball? We want to hear your perspective on what qualifications matter most for coaching elite athletes. Then, hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our coverage of these evolving stories that could reshape professional. Thanks for watching.